I know. It is November 1st. And I know y'all, let me tell y'all. So I was supposed to go live last night so I could really talk about breast cancer awareness month. But I let me tell y'all, I had no internet. Xfinity had to come today to fix my internet. So we up and we running today. And we're gonna be brief with this episode tonight because again, I know breast cancer awareness month is in October, but I don't care if it's November 1st. Breast cancer just does not awareness just does not end in October. So I'm talking about it tonight. I want to address how it affects black women and how much of a higher risk we are when it comes to breast cancer. I will also provide resources of websites that you guys can go to if you cannot afford um, breast cancer screening, to get your mammograms. So I will provide all those resources. But again, y'all, welcome back to another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all, let me say this. Y'all know before I start any episode, I always have to do a mental health check in. Y'all know this. So let me tell y'all this. I made a post the other day on Facebook about my mental. But I want to say this, shout out to my doctors that are really taking my mental health issues seriously. Anybody, if you are struggling, if you are lost, if you're in the dark, please go seek help. I cannot stress that enough. I say that because the suicide rates are increasing. That is actually the third leading cause of death in black men is suicide. Please do not be afraid to get therapy. Please do not be afraid to reach out and tell someone you need help. You are not alone. You are not by yourself. I will honestly say today is a better day for me than what it's been these last 7 days. Um, Unfortunately, I had to step away from Black Girl Interrupted for just a moment. Because I had to get my mental in check. Because if I'm gonna be good to y'all, I have to first be good with me. So I never want to come and do a show when my energy is vibrating very low. So if I disappear for just a moment, just know that I'm really trying to get my mental back in one space because I want to be very productive for you guys. I want to come and I want to exhume the most positive energy that I could ever possibly have because I want to do this and I want to make a difference. I do this because this is what I love to do. So again, I'm doing my mental health check-ins. Y'all know I always have to check in with you. I always have to make sure you guys are good. But in order for me to make sure you guys are good, I have to first be good because energy is everything. So, um, here go my sis. Hey, Ned! Hey, my baby. I miss you. I love you. Oh my gosh. There's my baby Trey. Trey, I love you. I love you. I need to get with you. Um, because I have an episode that I'm working on right now. I definitely want to collab with you. So if you are still tuned in, call me. If you still have my phone number, if not, message me your phone number so I can call you because I definitely want to put you in on this right here. Hey, my sissy. My sissy says, "Hey, sis, you're amazing and keep doing what you're doing." I love you. I love you so much. I miss y'all. And there go my girl Nat. Let me tell y'all, I have some of the most amazing people around me. It's a beautiful thing. So I can't help but be uplifted. I can't help but to be encouraged and to keep doing what I do. So I guess I'll wait to the end to do my motivational, inspirational video. But tonight, I want to jump into tonight's topic. And like I said, I know Breast Cancer Awareness Month was October, but I don't care. Breast cancer awareness never stops. Just like mental health awareness never stops, domestic violence awareness never stops, autism never stops. So I really want us to stop just doing things because it's that month. Because breast cancer affects women every day, not just the month of October. So tonight, breast cancer awareness month. Think pink. Let me say this. When it comes to breast cancer, man, black women encounter so many disparities when it comes to breast cancer. So I want to roll this video But let's talk about this first before I roll into the video. So I want to talk about the disparities of Black women and breast cancer. So y'all know I'm a stats person. I'm a numbers person. Anytime I bring you any types of conversations, I have to bring some type of stats, numbers, facts, whatever. So I was looking at some of the statistics when it comes to the disparities that Black women encounter when it comes to breast cancer. So one of the stats that I did find, that says breast cancer incidence rates among Black and white women are close, but the mortality rates are markedly different, with Black women having a 40% higher death rate from breast cancer. As I was getting all my research together to do this show, I was again couldn't believe the numbers of the mortality rate when it comes to African American women. And it's younger by the day. Okay. Looking at another statistic, it says among women under 50, the disparity is even greater. While young women have a higher incidence of aggressive cancers, young Black women have doubled the mortality rate of young white women. So, Black women, we are perishing at higher rates when it comes to breast cancer. And then it's the aggressive forms of cancer. So let's jump into this. I'm gonna roll this video and then I want to get back into this conversation because this is serious. If you have not gone to get your tatas checked, please. If you are over the age, I believe it's 30. I know it's 40, but they may have lowered the number, the age rate to get a mammogram. But if you are eligible and able, please do your breast cancer checks. Please go get your mammograms. I have been doing mammograms since 2008. A lot of people know, a lot of people may not know, but my mother is a two-time breast cancer survivor. My mother was first diagnosed in 2007. My mother had a mastectomy of her left breast. Um, Luckily, by the time my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was just making it to the nipple. So my mother did end up having a mastectomy. She did have her left breast removed, only for it to come back in the right breast. So I definitely encourage Black women, or women period, but specifically Black women, please go get your mammogram. If you are able and you are eligible and you qualify, please go get your mammograms. Even if you don't qualify, even if you don't have a history, you have to be your own advocate, okay? Because a lot of these doctors will say, "Oh, you're not old enough," or "You don't have a history of." It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a history of cancer to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And then we're seeing this in men also. For those that don't know, Richard Roundtree, who just recently passed away, suffered from breast cancer. Although he passed away from liver cancer, or I believe it was liver cancer, but he himself had breast cancer, a male. So it's not far fetched when we talk about breast cancer in women, but also it happens in men. More so often in women, and not so much in men. I believe the percentage is like maybe 8% when it comes to breast cancer with regards to men. So I want to roll into this, um, where they actually discuss breast cancer awareness and what you need to know.
It is pink in the studio for a reason. October is Breast Awareness Cancer Month, and we're going to be talking about prevention, how you can also treat the
Yes.
disease, and also how we can help.
Yes, a very important month devoted to education, the importance of early detection, and access to quality care. So, to get us all on the same level, I wanted to start with some basic numbers. So, first off, breast cancer. It represents approximately 30% of all cancers. And also, unfortunately, it's the most common cancer diagnosed within the United States. That equates to approximately 240,000 women and almost 2,000 men each and every year. The incident rate we've seen in recent years, unfortunately, has increased by about 0.5%. Secondly, risk factors. The most common risk factor is age. The median age of diagnosis is the age of 62. That means that half of those diagnosed are under the age of 62. Also, inherited genetic risk factors, family history, first-degree relatives with a history of breast or ovarian cancer, and those who have dense breasts. And to be specific about that, breast density is diagnosed on imaging. It's not something that can be diagnosed on exam.
You got to get your imaging done.
Got to get the imaging done. Bringing it to that screening, screening and discussions about screening should start at the age of 40. And most people don't realize it, but most insurance coverage, it should be all, cover mammograms every 1 to 2 years for women at the age of 40. It's important to understand your coverage the very same way that you understand your bank account. And then I think the most important number is survivors. Right now in the United States, there are more than 4 million women and men that are surviving breast cancer and currently undergoing treatment. And I think that number is the most important, especially to draw on that collective strength.
They are thriving, and early detection is key.
Absolutely. And many don't realize it, but if you find breast cancer at the earliest stages, your 5-year survival rate can be as high as 99%. So start that discussion about mammograms, get in there and make sure that you just get all your questions answered.
And look, I can say it can be scary to go in and get that imaging done,
Terrifying.
But it's so much more important to do it now and catch it early.
Yes, get it out of the way. Unfortunately, in the emergency room, I'm usually at the very beginning of many stories of their breast cancer when they're finding masses and trying to understand what can be the cause. And again, getting it out of the way is so key, so important. Don't put it off. It's your health. Treat it as the most important thing in your life.
Can't say it enough, Doc. Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
Oh boy, I tell you, looking at that and listening to how scary it could be when you go in for your mammogram, because you always go in thinking the worst. You always assume it's going to be something bad. But again, breast cancer is like one of the easiest cancers to treat. But it's also imperative that you are doing your self breast exams every chance you're able to get. If you feel anything abnormal in your in your breast, please make sure that you are expressing this to your primary care physicians. If you feel like your primary care physician is not listening to you, you find you another doctor that takes your health seriously. Because that's the easiest way. The earlier you're able to detect, the higher your survival rates could possibly be. So, going back into breast cancer and again the disparities of Black women, I see also social, economic, and behavioral factors may partially account for disparities. Black women are statistically more likely to have diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, and less likely to breastfeed. But let me say this with regards to breastfeeding, I am seeing more women that are starting to breastfeed. So shout out to y'all for doing that. I love that. Um, excuse me, y'all. But going back into the behavioral factors when it comes to breast cancer awareness, it's imperative. I cannot stress it enough when I say it is imperative that you are getting these screenings done. Again, as they stated, at the age of 40, even before the age of 40, you need to start having these conversations with your doctor. You need to start letting them know, hey, uh, I know I'm not quite 40 yet, but I'm interested in the mammograms. I say whether you have a family history of breast cancer or ovarian cancer, I still say it's imperative that you get checked. You know, I myself did the BRCA testing, and I'll get into that further on into the episode, where they did a genetic testing because now they're saying cancer is hereditary. And so when I did my BRCA testing, and I did this a few years ago, maybe about 4 years ago, maybe, and I was a high risk for I was BRCA positive. So I was a high risk for breast cancer as well as ovarian cancer. So fingers crossed that none of that ever comes to pass. Even though I carry the gene mutation for it, I pray that it doesn't. I've stopped smoking. Now y'all don't bother me about my candy. I'm on that. But my weight is down. Uh Trying to really keep my health in check. I think stopping me being able to quit smoking was one of the best things that I could have ever done because smoking increases your risk of cancer. So anything I could do to decrease the risks, I'll do. So back into Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm gonna post a couple of websites that I did find with regards to breast cancer. And then we're just gonna keep the conversation rolling out. Throughout the show, I will post the different websites. And then I'll repost them back at the end. For anybody that cannot afford to go and do their mammogram screening, they do have resources that could be free or low cost. Um, and could provide financial assistance based on the area that you live in. So here is one of the websites that I found. It's called the National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program. You can go to that website. It will provide you resources of low cost or potentially free mammogram screening in your area. Um, and then there was another one that I found. You have the American I'm so sorry. Yes, the American Cancer Society provides resources, a resort list for free or low cost mammograms and financial assistance based on your location. So those are two that I have found, but I found others and I will post those later. All right. So jumping back into our breast cancer awareness. Again, as I stated earlier, Black women are disproportionately affected by more aggressive subtypes such as triple negative breast cancer and inflammatory breast cancer, and they are likely to be diagnosed at younger ages. I'm sorry, I forgot to put ages on here, but this is sad. When you sit and you look at these statistics, you sit and you look at these cases, and they increase every year. For Black women to have a 40% higher death rate from breast cancer than white women. Yeah, 40% mortality rate when it comes to breast cancer and Black women. Uh, Let me go back. All right. So let me move this banner out of the way. So I have posted right here the barriers for Black women when it comes to breast cancer. We get the implicit bias from healthcare providers, delays in the diagnosis, and then financial factors. Because you have a lot of women out here, or a lot of families out here that cannot afford insurance or cannot afford the mammograms. And then the delays in diagnosis. A lot of women, Black women particularly, are being misdiagnosed or they're not being diagnosed in time. And by the time they are diagnosed, the cancer is potentially at a stage 3 or a stage 4, and it's aggressive. And then the implicit bias from the healthcare providers. When it comes to Black women, we have a higher mortality rate than white women. because they don't take our pain and our issues serious. We're seeing, and I know this is not cancer related, but we are seeing more women, Black women, who are dying in childbirth because doctors are not taking their issues seriously. So if your doctor is not advocating for you, you have to get out here and you have to advocate for yourself. If something is wrong, if you feel something is off in your body and your doctor is not listening to you, it's time for you to go find you another physician. Someone that will take your issues, that will listen to you and give you sound advice on what you need to do going forward. But that's the biggest thing, is that implicit bias from healthcare providers. As you've noticed, Black people are treated less than with healthcare than whites because we've been told, oh, we don't feel pain or we could take pain or our issues are not that bad. Yes, they are. But again, you start treating these providers like job interviews. If you are currently seeing a primary care physician, if you are currently seeing a primary care physician, excuse me, and you don't feel like that they are being accommodating to your needs or not listening to your concerns, you go find you another doctor that will. And that's one of the things we don't do as Black people. We wait until the last minute to go and want to seek help. Anytime anything feels off in your body, go see your doctor. Stop shrugging it off. Stop taking Tylenol and all of this thinking it's gonna go away because it could be something major. So I encourage you, Black women, please, if you are the ages of 40 or and over, or you have a history of breast cancer, please go and advocate for yourself. Please make sure you are scheduling your mammograms. Please make sure that you're going every year. Anytime you see a change or you feel a change, please get into your doctor. Please address those concerns. Go in with your list and address every last one of them with your doctor. And again, if you are dealing with a provider that is not that you feel is not listening to you, you find you one that will. Because those are absolutely the biggest thing. Is we have to advocate for ourselves. And if you don't, who will? So let's be very proactive when it comes to our health. So going back into the breast cancer. So here we go. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. All right. So when it comes to early cancer screening, excuse me, and detection, at-risk patients should be screened every 12 months. You want to keep your regularly scheduled OBGYN appointments that include a clinical breast exam. You should start receiving mammograms regularly after the age of 40. And you also need to monitor your breast for lumps and changes, whether it be in the skin, the nipple, or the size of the breast. There's also genetic counseling, which again I will get into, which is the BRCA testing. The genetic counseling is the screening to determine the risk. That could be done through blood or saliva tests and recommended exams and tests with close follow up if you are at risk, okay? And then it could lead to possible hormone therapy or prophylactic surgery. That is the genetic counseling, which is the BRCA 1 and BRCA 2. Again, I will get into that later into the show so you guys will get a clearer understanding of what I mean when I say the mutation, the gene mutation. All right, so when it comes to the diagnosis and treatment of breast cancer, you have your mammography. That's, where they check to see. You may have a biopsy, which leads into surgery, and then you have your chemotherapy, Some require chemo, some require radiation. Some people cannot take radiation, especially if you have heart issues. Then you have the hormonal therapy. Then comes the plastic surgery. Excuse me. You have your fertility counseling and clinical trials. But don't forget your supportive services, nutrition, physical therapy, massage therapy, counseling. Counseling is big because once you're diagnosed with cancer, whether it be breast cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer, skin cancer, bone cancer, or any disease, that emotional support is very imperative. And that's something you definitely need because you don't, this is being diagnosed with a terminal illness is never something you want to go through alone. So you definitely need that support system. You definitely need that group of people that will keep you encouraged and uplifted. You definitely need that. The educational resources, educate yourself, learn about breast cancer, learn what you need to look for when you are doing your self breast exams at home, in the bathroom, in your bedroom, wherever you feel comfortable. If you're laying across your couch, just simply raise your arm up, check the left side of your breast, check the right side, check under, squeeze and make sure there's no discharge that comes out of your breast. You want to note all those changes that you see when they happen. So once you get into your doctor, you're able to tell and explain specifically what changes you've seen. Again, if you don't advocate for you, who will? You have to be your own spokesperson. And again, if you find a doctor that's not willing to address or listen to your concerns, baby, you need to get rid of him or her and find you a provider that will. Also, engagement. You definitely want to find programs, excuse me, for breast cancer survivors that gives you the opportunity to get involved and share your similar journeys, aka like a support group. Again, you want to be around people that are dealing with it or have been through it because they will be the ones to help you along your journey and what to expect. Although everyone's symptoms and treatments are different, but they can give you their experience and what it was like when they were first diagnosed. So again, support groups are very imperative. Self-care, self-checking is very imperative. Advocacy for your health is absolutely imperative. And I cannot stress that enough. I go get my mammogram this month and I will definitely let you guys know what the results are. Because again, my mother had breast cancer twice. I have friends that are breast cancer survivors. I have friends of friends that have passed away from breast cancer because by the time they were diagnosed, it was too late. Too late. So what we can do as a people, again, you have to be your own. You have to be your advocate. We have to stop depending on others and stop listening to what the naysayers say. And you go and you take care of you. That's what you do. You go and you protect yourself. You go in there and you let them know, hey, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. I've noticed this change. You need to do that. Because if you don't, who will? Again, when it comes to the breast cancer, so again, you have your early detection. I wanted to make it bigger, y'all. Your early detection. So it says 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. So every 1 in 8. There's a new case of invasive breast cancer diagnosed every 2 minutes. Again, y'all, let's run these numbers again. 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. A new case of invasive breast cancer is diagnosed every 2 minutes. What can we do? What can we do? Your early detection and your prevention. Again, those annual mammograms start at the age of 40. Some are less if you have a history of breast cancer. Again, I've been getting mammograms since 2008, and here we are, 2023. So for the last 15 years. So since I was 29 years old, 30. That's how long I've been getting mammograms for the last 15 years. You got to learn to eat a healthy diet. That means I'm not saying you can't have your McDonald's or Burger King or Cheesecake Factory or wherever it is you like to go, but moderations. You got to get up and you got to be physically active. So you can't sit in the house all day like me. They want you to get out and walk and maybe jog, go to the gym, perform self examinations regularly. So, which means, maybe do it every week, once a week. When you get out of the shower, or maybe when you're laying in the bed and you're watching TV, throw that left arm up and feel around in a circle of motion. Squeeze the nipple. Make sure there's no discharge that comes out. Then you raise that right arm. And you do the right breast, same way. Circle of motion. You wanna document any lumps or bumps that you may find. And if there's any discharge that comes out of your breast. You wanna notate that. You wanna document all of that because again, it's imperative that you're doing the early detection and the prevention when it comes to breast cancer. Again, y'all, 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. And again, every 2 minutes, a new case of invasive breast cancer is diagnosed. But remember, y'all, I told y'all the mortality rate 40% higher than white women, black women, when it comes to breast cancer. 40% higher mortality rate. And again, by the time we're diagnosed, it's aggressive. It's an aggressive form of breast cancer. I want to run back to that again. Says again, among women under 50, under the age of 50, ladies and gentlemen, the disparity is even greater. Again, while young women have a higher incidence of aggressive cancers, young black women have double the mortality rate of young white women. 40%, y'all, under the age of 50. When I tell y'all, I get a lot of calls, y'all, about people that have been diagnosed with cancer, whether it's liver cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, bone cancer, skin cancer. I get those calls. And I'm going to tell you the saddest part to me is when I have that patient's information up, I look at the age. I look at the age. A few weeks ago, y'all, no, about a month ago, maybe, a young man, 50 years old, going into hospice, stage 4 colon cancer. 50. 50 years old, y'all. Like they say, you have to treat your body like a temple. You have to take care of it. If you want your body to take care of you, you have to take care of your body. But being in the healthcare field, y'all, I see so many things. I hear so many stories. I read so much information about patients that I can't help but want to get my health in check. I can't help but want to take care of my body because these cancer diagnoses, they're getting younger and younger by the day. By the day. Had a call today. patient had no coverage for a colonoscopy, which is early detection for colon cancer. No coverage. You hear that? No coverage. Even though the patient has a family history, no coverage. So I see a lot. I hear a lot when it comes to these different illnesses. But the one that always takes me down is this breast cancer. And to know men are developing breast cancer as well. Again, Richard Roundtree, who just passed, had breast cancer. So men can get breast cancer just like women. Kids can get breast cancer. Yeah. So again, I'm going to stress this. You have to be your own advocate. You have to advocate for your health. You have to get out there and you have to speak. You find you a doctor that will take your concerns seriously. I have a video. Let me get back to it. Uh, where they talk about the importance of breast cancer detection. Here we go.
Breast cancer accounts for about 30% of all new cancers for women. For Black women, that diagnosis often comes at a later stage than for others. Deborah Roberts has more on the disparity. A very, very personal story for her. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, I'm here for my overdue breast cancer screening. Like a lot of women, I put off my exams. But my doctors, my team, Doctors Cassell, Dr. Mitnick, and Dr. Tashman don't want to hear that. They want me triple screened for breast cancer, which includes a mammogram, a sonogram, and today an MRI. I am at higher risk because I have a family history and I'm a woman of color. And that's a combination I now personally know can be deadly.
Breast cancer awareness is paramount for my sisters and me. In 2009, we lost Benny to the disease at age 56. Then, in 2019, Janet was diagnosed too. After chemo and radiation, thankfully, she's now cancer-free. But our worries haven't gone away. Bernadette Osen knows that feeling.
My mortality was right there in my face.
In 2021, like Janet, she was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, and she soon learned that age and lifestyle are not predictors for breast cancer.
I don't eat red meat. I was walking 4 miles a day.
Then another sobering discovery. Black women are 41% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women, despite having similar incidence rates.
Incidence rates of breast cancer among Black women, coupled with the fact that Black women are more likely to get biologically aggressive patterns of the disease, has resulted in a widening of the mortality gap.
For 20 years, Dr. Lisa Newman has been researching key socioeconomic, genetic, and systemic race disparities that compounded stack high against Black women.
We have done leaps and bounds with breast cancer research. It is not a death sentence. It is actually a life sentence.
And as Bernadette, a single mom of 2, knows, early detection is key.
My treatment's done. This course is run. And I am on my way.
After chemo this summer, she's turning the page. But that's not the case for so many other Black women, Newman says.
Poverty rates, likelihood of being underinsured, these all result in delays in making a breast cancer diagnosis, inadequate treatment, incomplete treatment.
So survivors like Donna Robinson, in remission 11 years, have found a calling.
The story that captured me was a young Black girl that was going through chemotherapy, and she didn't have transportation, and she would go for her chemo treatment and catch the bus and ride home.
In St. Louis, Missouri, where the Black-white disparity in breast cancer death is among the 5th highest in the country, Donna's giving new meaning to purpose-driven.
Treatment is hard. It's hard emotionally, it's hard physically.
She's a volunteer with the American Cancer Society's Road to Recovery, a program pairing cancer patients in need of transportation with drivers like herself.
If one person's heart is a little lighter, I've done something that makes volunteering worthwhile.
But not all disparities are financial.
Systemic racism affects all aspects of society, including public health. And it unfortunately remains true that there are some pretty appalling disparities in delivery of breast cancer care.
My first experience was not enjoyable.
It's why the Mitchell sisters out of Arkansas are embracing the Grabbing Their Girls campaign and taking on health together.
It is a scary thing to go to the doctor for anything. Definitely to go for screening for cancer. And no matter what the outcome, no matter what the news, having great support there is key to everything.
These survivors teach us that self-advocacy is so urgent in taking care of ourselves and finding, early detection. So it's up to us to push our doctors, our insurance companies, anything we can do to stay vigilant and, of course, to stay up on our screenings. And I'm going in for mine right after this, Robin.
And how are you feeling about that, Deb?
I'm a little nervous. I'm always a little nervous when I do these things, but, I'm also very hopeful, too.
I know. We'll be checking with you later. You know that. All right, Deb, take care.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
You can't help but get emotional when you watch stuff like that and when you hear these stories. And to know that we are thought of less than when it comes to our health care. Like you really can't. Like you can't help but to be sad about it. Because we are dealing with a lot of disparities when it comes to our health care. Even if you're going to the doctor for just a simple cold. They're not listening to us, but you do have to find a provider that will listen to you. Again, I stated, and I'm going to repeat this again. You have to be your own advocate. A lot of these doctors don't care. A lot of us, again, as they said, we're underinsured or we cannot afford insurance. A lot of people don't even qualify for Medicaid because they say you make too much money. But please, and I cannot stress this enough, again, be your own advocate. Anything feels off or abnormal in your body, you go to your doctor. Go to a clinic, something. I wish things would change. We deserve the same amount of health care as our whites, Asians, or Latinos. We deserve the same. Unfortunately, we'll never get that, but we do. We deserve the same level of care and respect when we go in to see these doctors. And I don't care if you have insurance through your job, through the marketplace, or you have government, such as Medicare and Medicaid. I don't care. I feel like we should all be treated the same. But again, it is imperative. The earlier you are able to detect, the easier it is for it to be treated. Again, do your self exams. Throw that right arm up. I'm gonna, and you check. Squeeze the nipple, and then you do your right, or however you do it. Do your right, your left, but make sure you are checking both of your breasts. Make sure you're notating any changes in your breast that you see. If the skin looks different, if your nipple starts to become inverted, if you feel any type of lumps, if you're leaking any type of discharge that has never happened before, you document that and you make yourself an appointment to get into your doctor to get that checked immediately. Again, we are 41% higher, 41 I said 40, but they gave us 41. So 41% when it comes to breast cancer. Mortality rate, y'all, 41% than white women. And we're being diagnosed at younger ages. That's deep. That's very deep. Then I also found another stat. Again, I want to go into the BRCA testing, the BRCA1 and the BRCA2, which is the genetic testing. That is the testing that to determine if you carry the gene mutation for breast cancer or ovarian cancer. So the BRCA1 and BRCA2 are two genes that are important to fighting cancer. They are tumor suppressor genes. Now follow me. BRCA1 and BRCA2, again, are the two genes that are important to fighting cancer. They are tumor suppressor genes. When they work normally, these genes help keep breast, ovarian, and other types of cells from growing. So again, that's the BRCA1 and the BRCA2. Those are the two most important genes that are important to fighting cancer. Because what they do is they help suppress the tumor gene. They're tumor suppressors. And again, when they're working normally, these genes help to keep breast, ovarian, and other types of cells from growing. Let me roll this clip that gives you a little more detail on BRCA. And then I'm going to start posting the resources, that I found with regards, and then we're going to go ahead and bring the show to it. Again, this was not going to be a long show tonight. I wanted to just recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Although I was not able to do it last night, I said, hey, I know it's November 1st, but hey, I don't feel like there's a specific date or month that you don't discuss breast cancer. Although, yes, I know they dedicate October, but we need to talk about this every day, as well as mental health and domestic violence, AIDS, HIV, all of that needs to be discussed every day, not just particular months of the year. But that's just my own opinion. Some people may agree, some may not agree. But here we go. What the BRCA is.
Breast cancer strikes women and men of all ages and races. White women are slightly more likely to get breast cancer. However, black women are 40% more likely to die from the disease.
While researchers aren't exactly sure why there is such a striking disparity, some say it could be that fewer minorities are aware of their hereditary breast cancer risks and only a very small percentage undergo genetic testing.
Sarah Costa has some steps women of color should consider to lower their risk and save lives.
Neonatal intensive care nurse Kimyata Frazier feels empowered in her job, helping preemies get healthy.
I take care of them from the time they are born until the time they go home with their families.
But in her personal life, Frazier could do very little as she watched one relative after another battle breast cancer.
My mother just passed away from breast cancer. Her sister is currently dealing with stage 4 triple negative breast cancer. She lost her older sister to breast cancer, and my grandmother, her mother, also had breast cancer.
3 aunts on her father's side all had breast cancer.
It's in multiple generations. There's a lot of affected people.
With genetic testing, technicians take a person's blood or saliva and look for mutations. With testing, patients like Frazier can take preventative measures if they test positive for a gene mutation.
We may want to screen your breasts more frequently. We may want to do a colonoscopy earlier than you would have needed.
A very low percentage of black women pursue genetic testing, in part because of common misconceptions.
One is that, this is specialty medicine and you have to be sort of, rich or famous to get this testing. Not true at all.
Most insurance now covers genetic testing. Over the past decade, the cost of the testing has dropped to about $250 and sometimes as little as $100. Despite her strong family history, none of Frazier's doctors recommended genetic testing until she asked about it.
It's not painful, it's nothing bad. It can very well save your life or extend your life.
Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
So again, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to start asking questions when you go in and you see your providers. As this woman in the video that I just played, she knew nothing about this BRCA testing, nothing about it until she asked about it because no doctor had ever given her, um, had offered that to her. Even though, despite the fact that she has multiple family members on both mother and father's side that had breast cancer. And not one provider said, let's do this genetic testing to see where you fall. Do you carry the gene mutation? And this is what I mean. And I'm going to run this back one more time. Self-advocacy. You have to go in and speak for yourself. These doctors are not going to do it. You have to. And if you find a doctor that is not willing to address your concerns or sound empathetic or compassionate with regards to how you're feeling, you go find you another doctor. Unfortunately, we do encounter these disparities. Again, we do. A lot of us can't afford insurance. A lot of us can't afford Medicaid or Medicare because they say, oh, you make too much money. And then you wonder why there's so many people that are out here that are suffering from cancer and don't even know it. Then you have patients that are being misdiagnosed. Or you have patients that are having a delay in the diagnosis. So by the time the person is diagnosed, it's already very aggressive. You're in stage 3, stage 4. You have to advocate for yourself. You find you again. You find you a provider. You push these doctors. You push these insurance companies. Your health is everything. And again, if you don't take care of you, who else will? Who else will? Self-care is very important. Self-advocacy is very important. Follow everything you can for early detection. Again, when you get about 35, start speaking with your provider. 36, 37, start speaking. At the age of 40, please start getting your mammograms every year. You feel something off or different, you document that, you let your doctors know. Build that beautiful support team that you need that will help you on your journey. Because we all need that. And that's imperative. Being able to have the support as you go on your journey is imperative. It's much needed. It makes it a lot easier for you to deal with when you know you have the support, not only of the people around, but of your doctors. That definitely makes a difference when you have a doctor that is concerned and shows that they're concerned about your health. That's imperative. I know it's easier said than done. I know this. I know this. But you got to take care of you. You got to be your own spokesperson. You got to be your own personal cheerleader. You got to get out there and you got to make sure your health is good. Whether they listen or not, you got to take care of you. You got to put you first. Got to put you first. So again, y'all, I know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as you can see. Let me get my fingers together. There we go. I put the ribbon up for breast cancer. Think pink. Take care of those tatas. Again, some of the resources that I did find, let me go back. Um, Again, you have the National Cancer Institute. Information about free or low cost mammogram screening programs is available through NCI's Cancer Information Service line, and their phone number is 1-800-422-6237. And I will leave this down at the bottom for a few moments because I do have a couple of other resources that I was able to locate. This is for anyone that cannot afford mammograms or maybe do not have insurance. Um, Here is one resource down here at the bottom. Again, this is the National Cancer Institute. They give you information about free or low cost mammogram screening programs that are available through the NCI's Cancer Information. And their phone number again is down here at the bottom. It is 1-800-422-6237. Again, that is the National Cancer Institute. And again, they provide you information about free or low cost mammogram screening. I also found the Cancer Financial Assistance Coalition. And the CFAC is a coalition of organizations that help patients reduce financial barriers during cancer treatment. So this program here, the Cancer Financial Assistance Coalition, will help you to reduce the financial barriers that you may incur during your cancer treatment. I will leave this up for about 30 more seconds, and then I'll go back and post the last two uh, resources. But again, welcome back to another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. I want to say thank you guys for even tuning in and showing into support for tonight's show. Again, I did, like I told y'all, this was not going to be a very long show. Because next week I got to get messy. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up. But again, I still have down at the bottom of the screen the Cancer Financial Assistance Coalition. And again, the CFAC is a coalition of organizations that will help patients reduce financial barriers during your cancer treatment. So it doesn't matter if you have breast cancer, just any type of cancer: blood, lung, kidney, liver, colon, pancreatic, uh, prostate, brain, skin. Um, this is the website you will go to that will help you to reduce those financial barriers during your cancer treatments, which is definitely something that is imperative. Because not only are you dealing with a disease, but now you have to deal with the financial burden of the cost of the treatments for your cancer. So, again, the Cancer Financial Assistance Coalition. Again, I also have, oh, I'm so sorry. I already posted that one. We have the American Cancer Society, or ACS, which does provide resource lists for free or low cost mammograms and financial assistance based on your location. So once you go to the American Cancer Society, again, I'm going to leave this up for another minute or so. Um, that website, the American Cancer Society, does have resources, the list of resources that can help you get free or maybe low cost mammograms and also financial assistance based on your location. So you go to the website and you just input the state, but you utilize your zip code. I'm so sorry. You put in your enter your zip code, and it will pull up the resources that are available to you in your area, whether it's for free mammograms or maybe even a low cost mammogram or some type of financial assistance. Excuse me. And I'll leave that up for just about 30 more seconds. Again, that is the American Cancer Society. Okay. All right. And then I have the National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program, which is the NBCCEDP. You go to that website. Again, they do provide resources for free or possibly low cost mammograms that are in your area. Um, that is the National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program. Again, I'll leave that up for a few more moments. But I also want to let you guys know again when it comes to, excuse me, self the breast exams. So here are your 5 steps to detecting breast cancer early. So number 1, you definitely want to practice your routine self exams. Number 2, you want to know your risks and your family history. So it's imperative that you know your family history. Number 3, visit your doctor regularly. So make sure you're getting those annual exams every year. Make sure if you are able to do mammograms, please make sure you are getting your mammograms every year. And in between that, make sure you're keeping those OBGYN appointments. Make sure you're getting your pap smears. That is one way for them to detect ovarian, possibly cervical cancer. So you want to make sure you're on top of these appointments. Number 4, you wanna know when to get your mammogram. So if your doctor says, "Hey, you're gonna do your mammograms every year," you wanna try to do your mammograms around the same time every year, okay? You definitely wanna do that. And then number 5, you wanna do a follow-up. After your screening or your test, when you in that follow-up, that's when you sit down with your doctor and you address any concerns that you may have with regards to your test results. Okay, say one comes back, say it comes and you don't have cancer, or maybe they do find a potential lump in your breast. You want to discuss that. You want to know what options are available to you. So you want to make sure again, you're making a list and you're taking this into your provider and you're addressing these issues or concerns you may potentially have. Again, those are 5 steps to detecting early breast cancer early. Also, again, your diet. You want to eat healthy. You want to get out and you want to get active. Your alcohol consumption. I'm not saying you can't have a glass of wine or 2 a day, but don't overdo it. If you are a smoker, you may want to try to cut back on smoking or maybe try to stop altogether. Again, these are ways that you can help reduce the risk of any cancer diagnosis, whether it's breast, lung, liver, kidney, skin, brain, etc., blood. You want to do and make sure you stay on top of this. Please, 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 ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are staying very proactive when it comes to your well-being. Because again, if you're not asking questions, a lot of these providers, they're not going to tell you what you need to do. Well, you know what? Let me back up. Let me not say that. Let me correct myself because you do have some providers that will say, "Hey, have you had your mammogram yet? Have you had your colonoscopy yet? Have you had your pap smear? Do you do the breast self exams? Do you do that?" You do have some providers, and that may be just a handful of them. But again, you have to self advocate, and I'm gonna keep saying that. Any changes in your body, write them down. Make sure you take that list with you to the doctor and you say, "Hey, you know what, doc? Something don't feel right." Because I'm gonna let you know. When I go in and I see my doctor, let me tell you, I tell him everything. If and I know this may sound nasty, but if I start to smell a little differently, doc, what's going on? And I'll tell him, okay, so I did switch up, I did switch up maybe the water. I did eat some garlic, or maybe I ate some onions or something. Whatever the situation is, I'm always telling my doctor. And I go in and I give him the real. Because one of the beautiful things about my provider, I can go in there and lie to him because he sees my face. He knows. Miss Pitts, what's going on? And then it's like, okay. And then I have to break it down. I have to give him the real. Be honest with your providers so that way they know how to handle your situations. Don't go in there and act like you scared no. If something is wrong with you, you've experienced some type of change or some type of difference, you let your provider know. You let him know and say, "Hey, doc, I started noticing last couple of weeks my feet are swelling." Something along those lines. But you have to advocate for yourself. That's one of the things you have to do. Uh Let me post this real quick. Let me move this out of the way. This is a picture that I took from MD Anderson Cancer Center's website. Let me see if I can make it bigger with regards to the 11 symptoms of breast cancer. So you may see redness. Uh, these are changes in how your breasts look and feel. You may see the redness. You may feel a lump in your breast. Excuse me. You may feel a lump in the armpit. Uh, it may be an orange peel structure. It may be dimpling in the breast. And then with your nipples, it may be a discharge. Your nipples may be inverted. Uh, they may be pushing in. Your nipples may be pushing in. These are just some of the things to look for with regards to early breast cancer detection. So these are things to look for. Your breasts look different, document that and say, hey, on November 1st, I noticed my right breast looked a little swollen, or maybe my left breast, my nipple looked a little inverted. Document that. Get into your doctor and say, hey, doc, something ain't right. But again, you have to keep advocating for yourself. You have to put you first. You have to take care of you first. Because again, if you don't, who will? Who will? Who will? So please take care of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Please take care of yourself. Please be your own advocate. If you feel like your doctor is not listening to you, you go and find one that will. One that will take your healthcare seriously. I'm so sorry, we're rolling into the final thoughts. But you find that provider. You be your own advocate. Again, make sure you're doing those breast exams, your self breast exams. You could just be laying in a bed and you just rub and squeeze. Squeeze the nipple. If there's any type of discharge that you've never seen before, you document that. Then you lay in a bed and you go to your left or right, however you want to do it. But just make sure you're doing this. If you don't want to do it in the bed, do it when you get out of the shower. When you're naked. Uh, if you're laying across the sofa and you're watching TV and you just, check. Takes all about maybe less than 5 minutes for you to check. Any changes, lumps, bumps that you may see, you document that and you let your provider know once you get in there. Oh. When it comes to breast cancer, y'all, like the young lady said, it's not a death sentence. The earlier you get it detected, the earlier the treatment can begin. Please make sure you have a strong support group around you as you go on this journey. Please make sure that you are asking questions and you're letting your providers know, hey, something ain't right. This, you're letting them know. You have to be your voice for yourself. You have to be your own voice. If they don't listen, you find you someone that will. You're in control of your life. Take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Love yourself. That's most important. Self-care. Definitely important. On that note, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Next Tuesday, we are going to get into this infamous date list that's been circulating around social media. Does where a man takes you on a first date really constitute how that man feels about you? We gonna talk about that next week. But again, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all already know it's your girl Ash, bringing y'all the tea, the juice, the gossip, education. I just bring it all to you. Whatever Black Girl Interrupted is in the mood for, baby, that's what I bring to y'all. But don't forget, Black Girl Interrupted goes live every Tuesday, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Black Girl Interrupted can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, anywhere you listen to your podcast. Just put in Black Girl Interrupted and it'll pop up. You can always catch the live replays on YouTube. You can always catch any of the past episodes, whether you want the visual on YouTube or if you just want to listen to it. It's on Spotify, Google. Let's see. Here we go. I don't know if y'all can really see, but I use Anchor, which is now Spotify. I'm on iTunes, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Google, I'm everywhere. I'm on Audible, baby. Black Girl Interrupted podcast is everywhere, baby. Just put it in and you're going to find it. But again, I didn't do anything empowering at the beginning, so I said I was going to save it for the end. So I want to say this to you. Anybody that's going through anything, just know that I love you. I'm praying for you. And please know that your storm does not last always. You are definitely in your winning season. So we're going to go ahead and close with something empowering. And I will see you guys next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time, same place. And baby, don't forget, we're going to get into that infamous date list. Like, again, does where a man takes you for a first date really matter? And is he required to spend $500 on you on the first date? We'll get into that. But on that note, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend, a great rest of the week. Let me say that. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Please continue to stay safe. I love you guys. And here we go.
When everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more, it's a lonely feeling. Oh, it hurts very badly. I know what that's like. They look at you with that look and say, why don't you try something else? Why don't you give up?
Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from them. Get away from them. If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never become the oak tree that oak trees are capable of becoming because it's gonna get stifled by the 2-foot pot. Now check this out. Ain't nothing wrong with the seed. The seed just fell prey to the environment. Don't you allow your environment to dictate the oak tree that you become.
Anytime you move from being normal to trying to be exceptional, people aren't gonna like that shit. Those normal people, it makes them feel like shit, so they're gonna judge you.
And that's why every true leader, they're called weird, they're called eccentric. When you do the things of real leadership, you're gonna be called strange. Get strong enough in your own skin that when people laugh at you or when they throw stones at you, you keep on going.
I respect any motherfucker that wakes up every day and work their ass off to live their life and lifestyle. Clubbing, partying, hanging out, that ain't for me. I'm gonna be out here running in the hot sun, practicing. While everybody else is clubbing and hanging out, you got your focus right.
Don't expect people to understand you. Don't expect it to make sense to anybody why you've got to do this, why you have got to go, why you leave. This is a good job. I'm going. They pay you well. I'm going. Why? I don't understand. You don't have to. I'm going for me. This is something I have got to do. How are you going to make it? I don't know, but I will. The universe responds to the man or woman that refuses to be denied, because that is your commitment. That business that you want, that book you want to write, that dream that you have of controlling your destiny, that is yours. That's available to you. But you've got to be willing to stand there and face disappointment, not have support, feel lonely, doubt yourself sometimes, be rejected again and again and again, become bankrupt if necessary, again and again and again, and refuse to turn around until life gives it up.
Life will always be, to a large extent, what you make it, not what circumstances will make of it, not what other people will make of it, not what other people say it will be, not what the environment will try and dictate to you, but what you make of your life. So when you're uncommon, get ready for the criticism. When you're uncommon, get ready for the opposition. When you're uncommon, get ready for the common people not to understand you.
If I decided to experience the fear of rejection, the fear of no, the fear of failure, The fear of standing by myself, the fear of people not liking me. What else is available? Of taking a chance, a fear of losing it all. What else is available to me?
People are gonna think you're crazy. You don't have nothing but lint in the corner of your pocket. You're out there talking about living your dream. And people laughing at you. And they're doubting you. It takes guts, ladies and gentlemen. But let me tell you, I believe in revenge like Frank Sinatra. He said the best revenge is massive success.
Instead of killing them with kindness, torture them with success.